when I got them, first thing I noticed was that the mid-range and the high frequencies, they respond so good. They're crystal clear and they're punchy, while they're not fatiguing my ears. And I think that's very important when you work in for a longer period of time. Hey, welcome to the studio. My name is Peter Lagoda. I'm a mixing and mastering engineer, and I'm also a musician and music producer. I started as bass player and guitar player, and when I was on tour, my sound engineer gave me a copy of Cubase. Sorry, Steinberg, not very legally, but yeah, that's how we all start, right? Yeah, be sure I bought a copy at some point in my career, but that's how I started. I recorded myself, and actually I met Charlie Steinberg last week at a show I played, and he was in the audience. Had a little fanboy moment there. Nice fella, had a chat with him, took a selfie. But yeah, after that, just recording myself. I also started as a front of house engineer, did live shows at a local venue here, and went on tour with other bands, and things just grew organically. And now I'm running the studio, and I'm also leading engineer for a venue here in town called Skaters Palace. So over the last 15 years I worked with a lot of artists all over Europe, and I've been on tour with bands from nearly everywhere. For example, Carcass from Tenacious D, band from Los Angeles, or the Proto Man from Nashville, a really great band, amazing, love them, check them out. But most of the time I'm here in my studio doing mixing and mastering jobs for different artists, and right now I'm working with a singer-songwriter from Wales. His name is Daniel Nicholas Fairhurst. He's got that incredibly inspiring voice, powerful but fragile at the same time, very intimate songs, and I don't know, somewhere between pop, post-rock, whatever. Got a nice flavor to it. Right now we are recording an album, and I think it's going to be released next year. I started the studio as a project studio, a recording studio first, but after a few years and a lot of acoustic treatment and trial and error, I upgraded the system step by step. So I got really good converters and a clock by Antelope Audio, which I love, which is, I think, the first crucial part in the whole setup, and get the Eve audio speakers after that. And step by step, this room became a great environment for mixing and mastering. There's a live room, big enough for a whole band, so I can track a whole band live. There's also a room over there where you can put your guitar amps and cabs, and so you can sit in control room playing guitar here while the amp is over there, but you don't have this much ear fatigue through the loudness of the guitar speakers, and you can monitor everything through the Eve audios, which is great, and musicians love it when they sit here and just hear what I hear. So this is actually a dream come true, because I come from a live music environment doing shows, and the thing that I love most about music is the room, being in the middle of something, sitting in a concert hall, watching the orchestra play, I don't know, Mahler, or being in the mosh pit, listening to heavy metal music. That's what I love the most, and I just enjoy being surrounded by all the sound. And a good stereo mix can be a great illusion, can create an illusion of a stage, a room, or a performance, but it's limited to this illusion by its nature of just having a left-right channel. And Dolby Atmos, or any kind of immersive audio, is, I think, just the next step, and it's a bit closer to reality than a normal stereo setup. So in a Dolby Atmos scenario, you can mix in a room and that's actually what I always wanted, is to create this space around me so I can hear what I hear at a concert. But also, you could go totally crazy and turn things upside down and things flying here and there, but I actually don't like this gimmicky style of immersive sounding, whatever, production. But yeah, being in a room, I think, and get the impression and the feeling, the vibe of a room where music is played, that's what I enjoy the most and what I get from Dolby Atmos. Before I decided to go Atmos, I was thinking that setting up a system like that would be way too expensive and too difficult to install. But with the EVE Audio things, it was just pretty affordable, and I think it took me one day to set it up and measure everything, like distances between speakers, phase issues, all that stuff you want to consider. And I already had a pair of EVE Audio for my stereo setup. The 3070, I think, was the first speaker that I got, which are amazing. But at the time the 4070 came out, I had the chance to compare them. So I went with the 4070 because they just were better in my room. So I think that matters the most. So what's your room, and then you have to decide what speaker is best for you. And for me it was the 4070, and I just love how they sound, their sonic character. And by that I mean they don't color anything, they're just honest. I mean, my wife likes like boosted bass and treble and all that. I get that, it's fun, but in the studio I want to know what's happening in my mix, especially in my low end. But I mean, even my wife loves those speakers. When a band we both like releases a new album or whatever, we come to the studio and listen to it here, grab a couple bottles of wine or whatever, and yeah, engineer romance. But so they are fun at the same time. So they're not just analytic and boring. They're just exciting, but not hyped. So I think both worlds are very well balanced, and I think that's when I decided to go with EVE Audio, because of this balance of having fun listening to my mixes, but having always the confidence that I knew what's happening in my mix because they are so honest. In detail, yeah, the 4070s, when I got them, first thing I noticed was that the mid-range and the high frequencies, they respond so good, they're crystal clear and they're punchy, while they're not fatiguing my ears. And I think that's very important when you work in for a longer period of time. And another thing is the tweeter, the AMT, the folded membrane, is something totally different to a regular tweeter. The AMT creates a wider sweet spot for your listening position, so you don't have to stick with your head in one position. You can move a little bit, and more than on regular tweeters, without losing your stereo image and your levels. So yeah, and the low end, man, the EVE Audio, they have so much power on the low end without being hyped. So don't get me wrong, they're not like, there's not a boost or something, but you can hear everything to down like 33, 32 hertz without second guessing. You always know what's happening down there, and that's so important. And that's what changed my workflow, because since I got the EVE Audio, I do not listen back to my mixes on other playback systems. I don't have to. I just mix here in my control room and send the mix to the client. Sometimes I just listen back on the phone, but yeah, that's it. And since I got these, I don't have to listen on other speaker systems. that's great because it saves so much time, and I always know what I get in the final product when I hear it through the Eve Audio speakers. That's actually all we want to have, right? So yeah, and for Dolby Atmos, before I set it up, I considered different options, but yeah, I went with a third 4070 in the center, a TS110 as a sub, and a couple of the 205s on the sides, rares, and on the top, 4 of them. And yeah, just works. I mean, even the 205s have enough low end so I can pan, I don't know, guitars or bass guitars all around me, and I don't lose anything, because like the real low stuff is coming from the LFE, the subwoofer, and the 205s just give me everything I need. So, and the most important aspects of the mix are still in the left, right, and the center. So yeah, that's basically my setup, and it just fitted in the environment I already had. I have the Antelope audio interface, and I just had to plug it all in, route it, measure stuff, and now having a full Dolby Atmos setup here, which wasn't that hard. You maybe want to bring a friend helping you getting those speakers on the ceiling. It's not fun at all to do it alone, believe me. But yeah, now I'm very happy with that, and I'm already mixing in Atmos, which is so much fun. Yeah, sure. I mean, due to the pandemic, I wasn't recording that much in the last year, but I was mixing a lot of stuff. Material that was sent to me online, and I got to mix and master it. Music mostly, but also podcasts. But yeah, yesterday I recorded an orchestra that played Mendelssohn, and we're gonna mix it in Dolby Atmos. It's gonna be, I'm super excited about that. And next month there is a progressive post-rock band. I think that's the genre. Yeah, and I think we're gonna go with Dolby Atmos for that too. That's gonna be another exciting moment, bringing rock music in the immersive audio domain. Since all major streaming platforms are already streaming in Dolby Atmos or 3D audio, ambisonic, whatever, that's the next thing, and I'm very happy with my setup, and I feel confident, and I'm very excited about being part of this next step, going from mono to stereo and now Atmos, surround immersive sound. That's yeah, it's a very exciting time to be an engineer and creating music, and we will see where this is going.